Ingmar Bergman's intriguing and deliberately perplexing film has prompted many interpretations, and while I cannot know what Mr. Bergman's original intentions were, I did come up with a few ideas that helped me chart a way through the film, and while this is by no means a full analysis, I thought I would offer the following thoughts and notes as a start point to engaging with the film, and as a minor contribution to the debate inspired by it. In the middle of a performance, actress Elisabeth Vogler stops, looks around as if she's seeing things clearly for the first time, laughs, and then ceases speaking. She withdraws from the world and takes to her bed, and Elisabeth's doctor assigns nurse Alma to care for her. We then follow Alma and Elisabeth's experiences in trying to effect Elisabeth's recovery in a summer house on the coast. Elisabeth Vogler is having an existential crisis, a breakdown if you will. In the midst of her performance, she suddenly sees in the fabric of society a tissue of lies, fabrications, pretences and falsehoods. Just as she is pretending to be someone else whose emotions and reactions she is faking, she sees she is surrounded by people who also act as they lie, pretend and compromise constantly in life. The absurdity of this realization causes her to laugh, but also evokes a desire to no longer participate in this great existential conspiracy and turning away from truth. And so she ceases to communicate and seeks to withdraw from society. She has a short and somewhat dry and academic conversation with her doctor who confirms Elisabeth's breakdown and allows her and us to understand the situation, though of course this abstract diagnosis offers nothing in terms of a solution. Thus, nursing sister Alma is employed to care for Elisabeth. She will provide a form of therapy in the hope of encouraging Elisabeth to re-engage with the world, and she hopes to achieve this through open discussion, sympathy and emotional engagement. However, in my opinion, the key to understanding what is going on here is to recognise that Alma is a product of Elisabeth's psyche, fabricated to help her heal from her breakdown. Come to that, I would suggest the scenes involving her doctor and perhaps even all the scenes in the hospital are also fabrications of her mind. The conversation with the doctor giving an analysis of Elisabeth's condition may be based on a memory, but it is too dry, condensed and unfeeling to be real. This is Elisabeth's hurt recollection of being more or less dismissed. Bear in mind, the doctor suggests this is another role she should simply play out until she tires of it. Indeed, this may be the reason Elisabeth invented Alma as an instrument of helping herself. The scenes between Alma and the doctor are also inventions of Elisabeth's mind. The rooms are very plain with little detail and are quite nebulous, suggesting a dreamlike nature, and the conversation between the two is fairly abrupt, businesslike and unconvincing. Really, this is Elisabeth's attempt to justify and convince herself of Alma's usefulness by way of the authority figure of the doctor. When Alma goes on to introduce herself to Elisabeth, her speech rather resembles a character synopsis you might find in the preface of a play, betraying perhaps her true roots and Elisabeth's mindset. At the beach house, Alma speaks to Elisabeth with familiarity, sweetness and affection. She speaks with a childlike openness, innocence and purity, reflecting that part of Elisabeth's psyche, the sweet, innocent girl she once was before being corrupted by society, self-awareness and ambition. Alma's purpose is to draw Elisabeth back from disappointment, disillusion and despair. She is there to offer a different perspective, gentle at first but becoming more assertive in time, while also seeking understanding and clarification as to how Elisabeth arrived at this juncture in her life. When Alma speaks, Elisabeth is effectively speaking to and debating with herself. Alma recounts a tale from her past, offering an account, or a memory for Elisabeth, of how she and a friend had sex on a beach with a couple of complete strangers, and this was the greatest sexual experience of her life, before and after the event. The reason? This was an act of pure, unbridled pleasure that involved no relationship, pretense, compromise or facade, such as she would undoubtedly go on to encounter in her more socially traditional experiences, and this will prove relevant to events at the beach house. When Elisabeth's husband visits a beach house unexpectedly, he speaks sincerely and seriously to Alma, but he clearly sees Elisabeth. Despite Alma's protests, she is not his wife. He shows patient understanding and sympathy, and both share words of encouragement and love, with Alma treating him like her husband, and this culminates in intimacy, during which Alma tells him he is a wonderful lover, but then she gets very upset and once again claims she is sick of lies and pretense. Alma is Elisabeth, and she gets upset because her husband is not her greatest lover, as we now know, but she feels she has to engage in lies and pretense in order to flatter and appease her husband, the type of conduct Elizabeth has rejected and seeks to escape. When Alma and Elizabeth have a face-to-face discussion regarding Elizabeth's coldness toward her son, Alma is clearly aware of Elizabeth's innermost feelings and fears, and she helps Elizabeth confront her own fear of responsibility, genuine emotion and devotion, with no room for social fakery and acting. As time passes, Alma and Elizabeth's personas seem to draw on one another and get ever closer. While Alma still displays love and affection, she becomes visibly and audibly more assertive as she tries to break through Elizabeth's emotional isolation, suggesting Elizabeth recognises the progress that has been made and she will not allow herself to regress. Indeed, at one point their two faces are conjoined, suggesting potentially conflicting attitudes and outlooks in a single person, and a need to come to terms with this by showing compassion and exercising self-control. At the end, just one person gets on the bus to begin her journey home. Alma and Elizabeth have become one. A true and intense psychological drama, Persona gives us an insight into the workings of the mind as it takes us along for Elizabeth's journey to recovery, aided by her alter ego, Alma. I can't say this is an easy film, but it is intriguing, stimulating and rewarding. My thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it of some value.